Hey Phantomaniacs, welcome to the newest unboxing here on the Needless Things YouTube channel. Today we're starting with the shipping carton, which I haven't done in a while, and I know that's not always a popular choice, but this box is kind of larger than I thought it would be, so I'm not entirely sure how the figure inside is packaged, and I thought it would be fun to get that reveal in the event that it is some kind of cool packaging that I wasn't anticipating. And if you're not a fan of the opening the shipping carton on video, well, all I can say to you is chill out. All right, let's open this up. It's obviously a little bit too big to fit in the picture, but that's okay. We'll be past that issue in just a moment here. Oh, wow, okay, so we've got our outer shipping carton, and then we've got an inner case right here that is also sealed on the longer, or I guess on the end. You know, typically you think of boxes as being the seam being right there, but both of these it's on what we would usually consider sort of the end of the box. So, very interesting. If this is just a regular old 112 collective box, I'm going to be a little disappointed. Oh, and it isn't. Okay, first we've got our little Mezits in there. Nice. Ooh, this is fancy. I've got that. Can I just tell you what a dumb delight it is to see the signature black bubble wrap that Mezco uses? I don't know why. It's so classy. All right, that is that, and that is our container. All right, let's get that. Well, first let's take a look. You know, they went to the effort of putting this little guy in here. Let's take a look and see what our Mezits, our goodie bag, because it's not just the figure anymore. It's like a whole little goodie bag that Mezco puts in these things. I've got a Stinkle pen with an NYC baseball bat thing happening. I should probably just sell these. I don't know. I'm not too interested in those. A little Rumble Society for Mezco's own proprietary line of action figures. Mez sticker, pretty cool. And a sticker advertising one of their 112 collective characters that they own. And then finally, our little Mezit. I don't know what they've done. Like, they've gone down a completely different route with these than what they used to do. Now they have little skull heads, a little bowler hat, a shotgun. Each one is kind of a different character, and they're really neat, but I don't know what to do with them. But, you know, as a little freebie, pretty cool little bag of gifts. All right, let's get to the main event now. This is the Mezco 112 Collective Mr. Freeze figure. Very excited about this one, Mr. Freeze. Gosh, this is almost like popcorn tin sized. This is wild. Man. So it's kind of like a big freezing chamber. Oh, there he is. Look at that. This is very impressive. I did not realize, as I've told you guys many, many times, whether you've watched the videos where I've said it or not, you know, I kind of see a figure and I'm like, oh, I want that figure. I don't necessarily look at every single thing in the product listing or the packaging it's going to be in or anything like that. I'm just like, well, I know I want that figure, so I'm going to order it. And then I don't look at it again because I want to experience this pure unboxing and the joy of like, oh, wow, look at all this cool stuff. Look at this cool package. So Mezco has, look at all the batteries. Holy cow. Mezco has packaged things like this before. I've got the Christopher Reeve Superman that came in a tin very similar to this. I would imagine probably the same dimensions, but I'm not positive. And, of course, they're brilliant packaging inside. Everything in a big, appropriately shaped clamshell type thing. We have the "This is a collector's item. Here is how it should be handled" note that I think is great that Mezco puts in these. We also have specific instructions, which they didn't used to do, and I'm really glad they do now. There is a good, I would say there is a 85% chance that I'll be stopping the video at some point to refer to these. Probably to put the batteries in. I got a little foam in the bottom of the tin, and then that is it. That's everything that was in the tin. So I'm going to set that to the side, and we're going to get down to business. Mr. Freeze, one of my favorite Batman villains, almost entirely thanks to the 1966 TV show. I'm just kidding. Obviously, it's thanks to Batman the Animated Series and the way that they fleshed the character out. However, as I have gotten older, I have grown, I don't know, I need to cut through the, yeah, okay. As I have gotten older, as much as I loathed and despised Batman and Robin, the movie, when I was younger, now, I love it. Is it the best Batman movie ever? It is not. But is it thoroughly entertaining and a wonderful tribute? This isn't going to work this way. And a wonderful tribute to the old Batman TV show. 100% yes, it is. George Clooney is basically just doing Adam West. Man, come on. And if you can't have fun with that movie, I get it. But as I have gotten older, I appreciate fun things more, and I'm less concerned about like being serious and cool, as you can probably tell if you've ever watched anything on this channel. So I now appreciate that movie. I enjoy watching it, and honestly, I think Chris O'Donnell was a great Robin in both movies. So that even back then, although I never liked that he was so old, but I did always appreciate his performance. All right. I think that's all the sticky stuff out of the way. Let's see if we can get these tabs opened up and finally get into this figure. Man, I said it last time I opened one of these, which I guess was, it wasn't Batman, Destro. Just imagine just the work that goes into the package design for these. Man, look at these frost effects are incredible. Let's see, I'm going to have to get all this back in here because, matter of fact, I'm just going to show you this right now. This is the armature that goes with the stand that's included with the figure. And while I will be using the stand with, I'm going to call that an OK logo or design for the stand. It's not particularly exciting, but it's not also not overwhelmingly like stylized. So I'm good with that. It's fine. So that armature plugs into, you can pop this piece out right here. And put that armature in, but Mr. Freeze isn't going to be like jumping or flying or anything on my shelf, so I'm just going to leave that armature in there. No need for that. Let's see. And then we've got the figure over here on the other side. Our batteries, our mini batteries, our multitude of batteries. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 batteries. Are in this tray, and I'm going to leave them in this tray for right now. And then we've got the Mylar bag that's intended to store the accessories, but since I do keep all of the packaging for my 112 collective stuff, it's the one line that after I had my big purge earlier this year, 112 is the one line that I'm actually keeping all of the packaging for. Because it's just, there's so many accessories, it's just safer. All right. I just realized I meant to take a picture of the box for socials with a little, hey, unboxing now, and I completely forgot to do it. Wow. Oh, man. He has sleeves, which is great because I do not appreciate a Mr. Freeze that does not have sleeves. There's a little influence. This is, if you're wondering, if you're not overly familiar with Mezco and the way that they do things, essentially their figures like this, they take influence from all of the different forms of media that the character has appeared in and make kind of an amalgamation of what their designers think is the best version of that figure. So you can see here, let's move our packaging out of the way. You can see here there are elements really heavily inspired, honestly, by the Arkham games. That's what he looks most similar to. But they've also given him a soft goods suit, which does kind of bring to mind the 66 television show a little bit. It's not armored because in the Arkham games he's pretty much fully armored, but this is a very different kind of look. Oh man, this is incredible. I know I say that every time I open a Mezco figure, but it's because they are producing the most amazing action figures on the market today. So this is the default portrait. He's got the goggles are just kind of stuck to his eyes. They're not actually a separate piece on his head. You can see, let's pop that head off there. And you can see all of the detail in the collar of his suit. And that neck, by the way, let's see. Now, the neck isn't, there's a little movement in the neck, but not a ton. As a matter of fact, we might need to rotate that a bit. Yeah, okay. You can see just all that detail on the control panel inside there. The quilting in the back. Absolutely phenomenal. And yes, there is a big dome helmet to go with this as well. So let's get that head with the... Look at the veins sculpted. The way that they've done the lines in his face and just how deep and dramatic they are. His climate control apparatus, he's got sort of the, all of the stuff connected to what is definitely a icy themed backpack that I hope connects to everything a little better than the, I can't remember his name now, the undersea figure that Mezco did, the original design. The connections to that one, the hoses and tubes and things, didn't work super well. So I hope they learned from that, and Mr. Freeze works a little bit better. Articulation-wise, now obviously he's going to be limited. These shoulder pads, they don't really move a whole lot, but this is Mr. Freeze, not Spider-Man. And under his suit, well, look at that. It does lift up a little bit. Under his suit, he has kind of a standard Mezco body, which has insane articulation, and I do not have the kind of budget to be one of those YouTubers that cuts the costume off a thing and shows you all the articulation. But it is essentially advanced Marvel Legends articulation, I suppose, but it is limited by the constraints of the soft goods suit, which is why a lot of people don't care for these, and I understand that. But for me, the aesthetics on these are so fantastic that I do like this look, and I'm not as concerned about the degree of articulation. And you can see it's just a matter of playing around with the figure and seeing how much movement you can get where, how you have to sort of move the uniform, costume, whatever, around to get different poses. But again, this is Mr. Freeze. A little bit of walking around, a little bit of standing there looking angry, and a lot of shooting his freeze gun. And as long as I can achieve that, I'm good. So, let's just go over the details one more time. I noticed his sort of holster here appears to just slide right off of his belt if you don't want it there. And if you look, you can see there's a lot of detail. Sorry, I'm going to freeze out of the shot. A lot of detail painted on there. We'll see how that interacts with his freeze gun in a little bit. But just the belt, the wrist gauntlets, the hands, which are interchangeable. He's got tons of hands available. The translucence, well, not just, oh my gosh, what? This is crazy. So, wow. This is flocked. This is actually flocking to represent the frost that's built up on his backpack. Whoa. So it's like, it's like you go to like a Christmas store and how they've got the windows sprayed to look like snow. Like it's like that. So this is not a paint deco. This is actual flocking applied to this backpack to give it that frost look, and it looks incredible. I don't know how well it's coming across in video, but you can see just the way that it's been applied. Looks amazing. Oh, wow. So we have these translucent cylinders and whatnot on the backpack that I assume are going to light up once we get the batteries into this thing, however that process works, which I will, as I said, probably be just turning the video off and getting them in there. I mean, I'll show you how they go in, but I don't want to sit here fiddling with this, figuring it out. So there you go. That is the figure itself. Just a fantastic, like I said, an amalgamation of kind of all of the coolest, best aspects of Victor Fries. Of course, treads on the soles of the boots. I mean, that's something Mezco always does. The ankles are usually I'm going to have to get up here because I need to get a better look. The ankles tend to be, to me, the weakest part of any 112 Collective figure, because what you're seeing right now tends to be the extent of what they can do. Because of the aesthetics and because of how invested Mezco is in creating a look that is less action figure and more tiny human, there's just not a great way to put ankles on these. I don't know, because I don't want to see that slot that modern ankles on action figures have that would be required to have the disc with the peg on it. So I don't know. I would like more, but at the same time, I understand why we don't get more. And again, especially for this guy, this is Mr. Freeze, not Spider-Man. Okay, so let's set our not Spider-Man off to the side here and take a look at the rest of this tray. Whoa. Whoa, what I didn't realize, oh man, it's got that same flocking on it. And this lights up too. Okay, so we've got a massive freeze gun. We've got a smaller handheld freeze gun, also with the flocking. We've got an alternate portrait. I'll compare that to because it looks pretty close to me. I think this one's a little more frowny, but we'll compare that in a minute. We've got his helmet. I'm a sucker for a nice fishbowl helmet. We've got whatever that is. We've got another freeze effect, and then we've got the hands that are available. And that is it. And then our desiccant, which, as always, dispose of this stuff very carefully. Make sure your kids and pets cannot get to it. All right. I'm going to set that up there. take a closer look. Let's take a look at the variety of hands first. Lots of different expressive hands. We, of course, have sort of splayed out. Those are both a right hand, but they're in slightly different poses. And then we've got a left hand, kind of open grasping, a pointing hand, and then two pistol grip, C-grip hands. Okay. We've got a freeze effect that I suppose, well, I'll look at the instructions and see. I mean, I guess that could go on like Batman's face, but it may be intended for something else. But if you can see, just gorgeous translucent plastic with nice paint to give it that really icy look. And actually, while we're looking at ice effects, let's go ahead and take a look at the ones that were there in the box before. We've got a foot effect, again, to go on Batman's foot, presumably. And just looks incredible. I say Batman, could go on anybody. Could go on Two-Face if you wanted. And then a freeze blast. Oh, look at this. This is also flocked. Wow. So that could go on chest or a waist. I don't know. Like I said, I'm going to look at the instructions. We're going to see exactly what these are intended for. This is beautiful, crystal clear helmet. The way that it's sculpted, the detail in those lines. Let's go ahead and see how it... Oh, man. Oh, it just clips right in. No struggle at all. Fantastic. You know, he's almost a little Ron Perlman. Maybe a little longer face, but a little bit of that. Who do you think he... Let's get that back out. That's fantastic how that works. Who do you think this looks like? Tell me in the comments if you've got an opinion of who this portrait might be modeled after. It certainly isn't Arnold Schwarzenegger. Okay, and you can see there is a... the alternate portrait is frownier than the default portrait. Which is fine. I don't need like yelling or anything like that out of this guy. He's got a heart of ice. And then we've got this, which kind of looks... I don't know what this is. I'm going to have to look at the instructions here. It looks like it might... Oh, wait. Oh, interesting. I want to consult. Oh, look at that. It pops right in there. So can the helmet go on with that? Or is that... Oh. Whoa. So that's a completely optional piece just to give him like a different look. Or maybe it's not meant to be optional. I don't know. But I mean, I just put his helmet on without putting that in there. That's pretty killer. I like it. It looks good. But it also looks good. Yeah. Still looks good without that piece. There's a little notch right there, but it's fine. Oh, I like them both. Which is often an issue with 112 Collective figures, is that kind of everything about them is awesome. So we have a handheld freeze gun. You know what? I believe I'm missing some parts. I must have overlooked something in the packaging because I don't have any hoses or anything. I'll have to get back into that. So, flocked, but to a much smaller degree because it's a much smaller instrument of freezing. I love the way that they designed this with the pistol grip back here. Just all of the sculpted, painted detail. That flocking was brilliant. I don't know who at Mezco came up with that. idea, but it's incredible. And then finally, the big, giant, mega freeze blaster that does, as you can see, there's a bulb right there. So this lights up. So we're going to have to figure out the battery situation here. Which, like I said, I'm not going to do on camera. I'm not going to torture you guys with that. But same flocking. I love the way that they've applied it. It just looks amazing. All right. So we're going to stop right there. I'm going to figure out how these batteries work. I'm going to look and see if I missed some hoses and tubes, because I think I did. And let's see. Okay. So there's the hose. It was, I saw it when I opened the box and just kind of forgot about it because there's a lot to look at. Okay. So this is nuts. That little cover reveals the screw. I guess I am going to do this on camera, because I mean it's only going to take a second. Now I may not put the batteries in on camera, because look, it's the same screwdriver I used to repair G.I. Joes. Because my fingers are gigantic, and putting these batteries in may end up requiring like tweezers or some other kind of implement. Oh my gosh. There we go. So yeah, let me just get those batteries in there and we'll be right back. Okay, so that was less painful than I thought it would be. I actually did manage to get my gigantic fingers to get those batteries in there pretty easily. So now let's get our whole contraption reassembled. And I guess it is, I don't know if important is the right word. Seems like too strong a word for a toy review. But I guess it is potentially helpful to anybody who might be buying this to see the way that some of this stuff comes together or whatever. Let me struggle for you. See what I'm saying? Because I actually have gotten that comment in the past, like, hey, thanks for showing how to do this thing. I couldn't figure it out. Although me being the person to figure anything out is not usually the situation. So that screws back into place. That plugs back into place. Our gigantic freeze rifle is there. And look at that. Pretty decent beam of light. Hang on. Let's see how. There we go. Oh man, look at that. So that canister on the side is lit up. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Yeah, the canister on the side is lit up. You got a little light sort of leaking out here, but very, very cool effect here. That's awesome. And that's your activator button right there. Okay, let's get our lights back on. I love this. So how would I even not use this? So these are just basically like little exhaust port type things, because our hose, which is a clear, there's actually a wire in there, which I think is very good and helpful. But it just looks like a clear tube, which I kind of appreciate, to tell you the truth. I like that it's not an overly... Oh, and it goes... So this inserts pretty far into the plastic, too. So it's in there nice and secure. I kind of like that they kept this simple, rather than making it... Because that was one of the problems with the underwater Baron guy, or whatever. Baron Benz in the Aquaticons. Hey, the old brain worked. That was one of the issues with his hoses. Okay, so then this end plugs into there, I think. Or does it plug into... Hey, you know what? Let's look at the instructions, maybe. No, it should go... Oh, you can plug it into either of the ports, it looks like. So it can go in up here or down here. Personally, I prefer this one. If it's going to go in there. Okay, there we go. Once you get it in, you can tell that it's in there, and it should stay pretty nicely. So that is now connected. No, no, it isn't. I said it should stay pretty nicely, not that it will. I'll mess with that a little bit more in a second. I want to get his backpack batteries in now. And those, press down. Okay, we know that. Remove battery cover here. Well, let's do the same thing again. I'm going to... Okay, so this whole piece just pops right off. It is pegged into the battery cover. And then our battery cover, same as the other one, only a little bit larger because we're putting 4 batteries in this unit. And the batteries, the flat portion of the battery, the bottom, the plus side, goes towards the spring. Oh, see, already this one is not going as smoothly. Oh, come on. Try one more time, then I'm turning the camera off. Well, wait, why don't I do it that way? There we go. Oh, come on. All right. Okay, that one was actually more difficult because there's more space and the batteries could kind of flop around a little bit more than they did in the rifle. So, close that back up. Just a gentle, you don't need to tighten that thing like mad. Just to, gently twist it shut and you're good to go. Pop that back on. And look at that. Light up. Beautiful. I'm trying to get in front of the background light there. Oh, what? Oh my gosh. Look at that. Holy cow. Let's get his helmet on and get the full effect. So that's with the helmet. And then let's see if we can slide the mask piece in front there. Wow. That is absolutely, look at the, oh man. Unbelievable. Okay. I love, like, on the one hand, I'm a little annoyed that Mezco is getting so much into adding electronics and stuff. But on the other hand, they're doing it very well. And I can't, like, it looks so cool. So, that's fine. I think that might be in now. Let's see if we can get a little hand swap going. Get that trigger finger hand on there. It's probably going to take some doing to get the rifle in exactly the right pose, which is one of the great things about these figures. Like, they do sort of demand you mess around with them to figure everything out. But you can see the hand fits perfectly. The trigger finger is right there, ready to go. I will experiment a little more, like I said, with how he's going to hold that. I don't know that I'm going to put the pistol on his waist. I wonder if he can get any kind of two-handed. Not really. I don't think that's going to happen. But let's get that. Let's get him lit back up. That is a very impressive toy right there. Like that is a conversation piece for your shelf, without a doubt. So, Batman, once again we meet. Sorry. Come on, how can you not try to do a little Mr. Freeze voice when you've got an awesome looking Mr. Freeze in your hand? So he just pegs right onto the stand. And what's funny about these stands is the peg is very, very short. But I have never, ever, ever had an issue with one of my 112 figures kind of falling off of that little peg. It's engineered perfectly, apparently. Okay, so there's Freeze. You know what? I got to try these Freeze effects. So hang on, let me grab... oh, you know what? I don't need... It doesn't have to be a 112 figure. So let's just grab our pal The Rock here. And that may not be... Oh yeah, look at that. That'll do just fine. So you get a little frozen foot. And a frozen something else. A little abdomen there. Maybe that should go the other way. Yeah, I think that goes the other way. He's The Rock, so his abdomen's a little too big for this one. And then he's going to freeze his face up too. Not bad. It looks like your movie has frozen at the box office. My advice to you, chill out. You know, weird combination of Arnold and the original voice actor for Mr. Freeze. So there you go. This is awesome, awesome, awesome. I gotta say, the last 3 112 figures I have purchased have really... Let's get The Rock out of the way. I don't want my closing scene. We're not going to have an after credits Rock scene in this video. So, yeah, the last 3 112 collected figures I've reviewed, Batman, Destro, and now Mr. Freeze, have really gotten me excited about Mezco again. I think they had some kind of struggles with releases and schedules and whatnot, but hopefully they're back on track. We're going to keep seeing their unique, incredible works of art being released. This one is great. Thanks for watching, you guys. Please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends about Needless Things. And it's, getting warm outside. It's summertime, so everybody remember, stay cool.
Smash that like button if you like Needless Things.